This little guitar is obviously inspired by the Gibson Les Paul Junior. The shape tells you it's a Les Paul. The pickup configuration tells you it's likely to be a Junior style guitar. This is actually made by a company called Vintage, and it's the VR100. It is their take, I think, on the Les Paul Junior, and it's a very, very nice take indeed. And better than that, it's affordable. If you go from the top of the guitar, as we always do, the tuning heads are actually Wilkinson copies or tributes to the original Clousons that were on Gibsons of an earlier vintage. They've got covered, they're a covered style rather than a sealed, and they've got the engraving on the covers. And the jade green plastic tuning knobs, which are a feature of the original style of the guitar. The headstock itself looks very sort of Gibson-esque, so nothing about this guitar looks out of the way if you're a Gibson fan who just simply can't afford a Gibson. The neck, the materials is where we start to move away from maybe those traditional values. The neck is made from maple, which will brighten the sound, whereas on a Les Paul Junior you would have probably a mahogany neck, which would slightly enclose and darken the sound. The neck itself is a fixed neck, so it's glued into a socket in the body, and that increases the tone transmission and sustain of the instrument as a whole. It's the kind of profile you'd expect on this sort of guitar. It has a very slight chunkiness to it, but certainly nothing untoward. Very playable, very comfortable to hold. The body is made from poplar, which is again another departure from tradition. You might expect the Gibson style guitars to be made in mahogany, but again the poplar has two advantages. One is that it's lightweight, so this guitar is very, very easy to wear and play. The other is that it will help lighten the tone as well, or it will not darken the tone, probably is the best way of saying it. Going on to there is a slight arch on this top. You're not probably going to pick that up, but there is a slight arch which makes it a little bit more attractive than just a single flat slab body. So going on to the hardware. The bridge is an old style wraparound bridge. By wraparound, I mean that the strings come in through a hole at the front. They are then wrapped round over the top of the bridge and up to the tuning heads. There is no individual adjustment here. This saddle is a moulded part of this single lump of metal, so there is no real scope for intonation adjustment. Action can be adjusted by using these two bolts at either end, the ones that hold the bridge onto the body. The controls, we've got a volume and tone for each pickup and a standard three-way pickup selector switch on the upper bow. Now the really interesting thing about this guitar are the pickups. These are soap bar pickups, and they're Wilkinson branded, Wilkinson made, Wilkinson designed. They've got stacked magnets. Now a normal single coil would have a single magnet. These have stacked magnets, which gives them the ability to act in a hum cancelling fashion like a double coiled humbucker would, but they retain the brightness and brassiness of a single coil pickup. So you've got the best of both worlds. You've got the single coil sound, and you've got the hum cancelling ability of the stacked pickups. That is the guitar as it sits. Let's have a little listen to how it sounds. We're going to start off with the bridge soap bar being played alone. It's why these things are popular amongst the new wave of punks that we've had over the last 6 or 7 years, and that's why I'm playing a little bit of punk chord progression there. Let's move to the neck pickup on its own. I'll just play the same chord progression. Oops, no I won't. I'll just play the same chord progression. There's a lot more depth in there, as you would expect from the position, which I could even put into some blues voicing. Running them together, we get I'll play the same chord progression hopefully this time. You can hear maybe there's a little bit of a scooped down sense to that sound. That could be tweaked into classic rock or other such genres as that. So there it is, the Vintage VR100. Very attracted to these pickups. I like the grunt and the grind, the grunge. Can't think of any more G words, but I do like these pickups. One thing I had to mention about this guitar: it's extraordinarily high quality for the price. At the time of shooting this, it was certainly a lot less than £200. So if you're looking for that kind of garage punky look, the finish of this mustard finish is beautiful. It's a great guitar to play live because it's light, it's got character, and the sound is going to fit into that punky garage indie grungy sort of style. So if that's where you're at and you've got 200 quid, buy one of these and have a curry.